All right, Shalom, Israel, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Shakum like Yahushai. Yahweh being named Heavenly Father, who the world will call God, and Yahushai being named His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is Brother Kesadia from W5 Jersey, Philly. And the title of the video, or the topic is, going into how to handle having low finances in the truth, being a little bit more destitute, the Most High not really giving you a lot of increase as far as riches or financially, whether you have a family, whether you by yourself, man or woman in this truth, how we're supposed to handle it in this truth, and what the Lord says in the scriptures. So this first and foremost, this could be a heavy topic for Israel on a day-to-day living, maybe a brother, he doesn't make enough money, or a sister, she wants to, make a little bit more so she can get out, leave her parents' house and, live on her own. Whatever the case may be, we got to understand that we still in captivity. All right. Now, that's not an excuse to say not to, strive for, ultimately, having a better situation for yourself and, even providing for your family or for yourself. But with that being said, you got to look at it as if, again, for one, we're in this captivity, and two, being in this truth, this is not what we're here for, right? We're not here to be the richest brother or sister. We're not here for none of that. All right, the Most High, first and foremost, you gotta be content on what the Lord has given you, right? So I'm gonna kick it off with that in the book of Hebrews. So the Lord has given, certain men, they may have that ability to, work and get paid 30. I know a brother, he's getting paid damn $35 an hour. All praise to the Most High. There's other brothers who make, decent income, whether they have a CDL or they have a business and different things like that. The Most High is going to give that brother his own reward, but this is not our goal while you being in this truth. All right, so this is the book of Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 5. It says, let your conversation be without covetousness, right? Because you can look at someone else and what they're doing and how the Most High has blessed them, and you can look upon yourself, and then you're thinking of wanting that man's lifestyle, right? And what he has and the riches and the blessing that the Most High has given him. All right. It says, let your conversation be without covetousness and be content with such things as you have. So the Lord said you have to be content in what the Most High has given you. Right? Again, it's not for everybody to be well off. That don't mean you're supposed to just, just be assed out. Go do your thing. Go try to better yourself, better your situation. If you have a family, it'd be wise if, maybe it'll be wise if you're looking to have some type of increase, but not without putting the Most High in His truth first and foremost. You understand? So reading on, it says, be content with such things as you have, for He has said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. So the Lord, He'll never leave us nor forsake us as long as we following Him and keeping His commandments, right? Now, you got to remember too that Yahushai, right before I get that, let me go to Hebrew or Haggai, right? Let's go to the book of Haggai, and let's see what the Lord said about the state of Israel and us bearing this truth today. This is the book of Haggai, chapter 1, and I'll start at verse 5. I'll start at verse 4. Haggai 1 and 4, it says, is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your seated houses, and this house lie waste? Right, so Israel, and Haggai was a prophet during the time of Israel coming out of that Babylonian captivity, right, and transitioning over to the Medo-Persian captivity, right? So Haggai was actually out there prophesying when Zerubbabel, when Joshua, when Nehemiah, well, really Zerubbabel and Joshua was first coming back out of that Babylonian captivity, and Israel was coming out of that captivity. Now, during this time, Israel, they were out trying to build themselves nice, decent houses and worry about their estate and their welfare, opposed to worrying about the Most High. There was no temple made for the Lord during this time. It was in process, it was in building, but it wasn't completed. And Haggai is looking like, hold on, y'all worrying about your own welfare and your well-being, and you're not worrying about dedicating the temple for the Most High after it was destroyed in 586 BC. We got to look at it like that too. You can't worry about yourself and how your house is looking and how things is going in your life, and you're not putting the Most High first and foremost. A lot of times we get wrapped up in the things of this world. Let me go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. You don't want to overindulge or abuse the things that the Most High has given us in his world. Right? It's 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and I want 31. Right? 1 Corinthians 7 and 31. Slakia. It says, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. So the Lord said, you can use this world, but you can't abuse this world. Meaning you can go, you can have a job, and you can do what you got to do. You can go, maybe, if you first having a wife, right? The Most High blessed you with a woman, and y'all want to go get a house together. Hey, you can go do your thing as far as house shopping and go do the decorations in the house and do what you got to do. But you don't want to be too indulged in this world. Maybe you want to get yourself a new car, but you don't worry about getting a nice, fanciest car and dedicating and devoting all your time to saving up money and trying to go get some damn whatever, man. Right? Or you're trying to go get the top damn career and work on Wall Street. The Lord said, hey, you can use this world because we're here for the time being, but we're not of this world. You can't love the course of the things that's in this world. Once you start looking back and drifting off and worrying about the things in the world, then you're no better than Lot's wife. That's what the Lord told us in the book of St. Luke. Right? It's St. Luke chapter 17 and verse 32. St. Luke 17:32, it says, remember Lot's wife. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. So we got to remember Lot's wife, how she started looking back. Hey, once you start looking back, the Most High is going to destroy you, and you'll forever be destroyed. We don't want to be like that. We don't want to forget. We don't want to forget, right, about what the Most High has taught us, and that we can't be overindulging and being too occupied in this world. All right, so that's what the Lord said in St. Luke chapter 17 and verse 32. And we have to remember Lot's wife, man. When you start to try to remember and try to then make it big in this society, that's exactly when the Lord is going to return. And that's exactly when you're going to be destroyed. So do what you got to do, right? Do what you got to do on a day-to-day basis, and always put the Most High first and foremost. So back to Haggai chapter 1 and verse 4. It says, is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your Cecil houses, and this house lay waste? Now, therefore, thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. So the Lord said, now was the time to consider your ways. Now is the time to consider what you've been doing for the Most High, or the lack thereof. You need to meditate and examine yourself. It's very expedient that every Shabbat, every day, you examine yourself and see what manner of man or woman you are in His truth. If your heart is with the Lord, or if it's been drifting away. And in that time, you correct yourself and you try to get yourself back on that thin and narrow. If you weren't about finances and wealth and trying to look at your bank account and you want $50,000 in your bank account, well, brother, what's really more important for you? Is it to make it to the kingdom of heaven? Because remember, the Lord said He chose to pour out of this world that's rich in faith. Let's go to that in James chapter 2 and verse 5. So it's not that the Lord's choosing the man that got all the damn money in his bank account. Right? The Lord's choosing a man who has a great abundance of faith. This is the book of James chapter 2 verse 5. Hearken, my beloved brethren, had not Yahweh chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom, which He had promised to them that love Him. So the Lord, He's going to turn, the Lord's not dealing with, those that's rich in this world. Those that have that wealth, and the Lord said in St. Matthew 19 and 20, go sell what you have and then come back to the Lord. right? And even when you read, say, Matthew 19 and 20, that man, he didn't really want to do that. The Lord said, look, if you want to follow me, sell what you have, give it to the poor, and then come follow me. And that man, he kind of walked away sad, distraught, sorrowful in his heart, because he had to give up his riches. See, it's going to be very hard for those that have wealth and riches in this world to make it into the kingdom of heaven. All right? That's what the Lord said. He chose the poor out of this world that's rich in faith. Remember, if you serving the Most High, he'll build you up. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. Right? Now, it could be difficult. Sometimes you can look at your bank account and you want to do certain things. Maybe you have different expenses that may pop up, and you always, just making it by paycheck to paycheck, month to month, right? Then rent is due on the 1st. You might not be paying on the 1st. You might be paying on the 4th. Maybe the damn last day before they put a damn fee on your damn rent bill. Look, it is what it is. This 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse number 5. It says, they that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren had borne 7, and she that had many children is waxed feeble. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. It says he bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. So here's the point, verse 7. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. So the Lord, he said, he'll make a man poor, and he'll also make that man rich. He'll bring you low, and he also, at the same token, can lift you up. So the same man that's doing these things to you, that's brought you down so bad, where you damn, really at the bottom, your damn pockets is always touching, like they say in the world. Look, it is what it is. He's the same man that also can make you rich and have you sit upon a throne, right, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. You understand? Let's read on. It says he raiseth up the poor out of the dust and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. The pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them. So the Lord can do whatever he wants to do. He can break you down and crumble you, and at the same time, take those same ashes and dust and put you back together like a puzzle piece. So you got to trust in the Lord with all your heart, and read Sirach, the 2nd chapter, and meditate on the Lord, and keep your heart with the Lord, and don't turn aside and make haste in the time of trouble. And it can be easier said than done, but that's where prayer and fasting comes in. So let's go back to Haggai. Right? Haggai chapter 1. It's Haggai chapter 1, and I'm going to go to verse 6. It says, ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. You clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. So the Lord told us that this would happen to us, man. The Lord told us that it will work, will bring an increase. And I always bring this example out. You may work, and your paycheck, it says you're supposed to get paid, let's say $1,500. But then after all the damn taxes, you left with maybe 1,000 at the most, 1,000 or 900. After all the damn taxes, and certain men, they have different responsibilities. Even we know you might have dealt with a wicked woman in the world, and she may have put you on child support. So now every time you get in that paycheck, they deduct the child support, they deduct the Social Security tax, the damn state tax, whatever other taxes is in there. And your check, it should have been $1,000, but now it's damn brought down to $400. You got a gross pay, and you have something known as a net pay. The gross pay is how much you actually work, your labor, what it is per hour, and then you got your net pay after all the damn deductions. So the Lord said we're going to be subject to those things in this captivity. Told you that in Baruch chapter 3. Let's go to that. That the Lord said we'll be subject to payments. This Baruch chapter 3 And I'm going to go to verse 7. It says, and for this cause thou hast put thy fear in our hearts, to the intent that we should call upon thy name and praise thee in our captivity. For we have called to mind all the iniquity of our forefathers that sinned before thee. So the Lord has done all these different things to us. And it's for our benefit, so that in this captivity, we can think upon the Most High, reverence the Most High, and come back to the Lord in these last days. Verse 8, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity where thou hast scattered us. So the Lord said, even today, we're in captivity, where we've been scattered for reproach. Let's read on. It says, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments. So to be subject, meaning we're pretty much the person that's at the focus is being put on. The onus, they'll say in the world, the onus is on. Meaning it's about you. So the main ones that's paying everybody, the main ones that have to serve everybody, the main ones that's been oppressed in that captivity and don't have nothing, and anything they want, they got to get it from the other nations. And that's you. That's the children of Israel. The Lord said, we're subject to payments. That's what we had to deal with as a nation of people for being disobedient to the Most High God. So every time you think about it and you're like, damn, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Why can't I get a house? Why can't I get a better car? Why can't I get whatever? Well, brother or sister, guess what? It's because we went off against the Most High. And it's the condition that we're in. Everyone has a different challenge at hand. Certain people, they may be blessed with a little bit better because they may have been going through a little bit more, and the Most High is giving them the increase. It's not as if you'll always be in this position, but if you are, you got to deal with it. And it is what it is. You can't buck up against the Lord and say, Lord, why do I got to deal with this? When you do that, you best be careful, because the Most High can strike you down right then and there. And although your flesh can take hold and you can think, that you have that ability to talk back against the Lord, but the same way you want to talk back against your parents when you was growing up, I mean, why would it be any different with the Most High? Literally having the power and the soul and the breath of your life in his hands. He can crumble it or he can give you more. So you gotta keep that in mind. Let's go to some more precepts. Let's go to the book of let's go to St. John. Right, because I was mentioning this earlier, that remember our Lord Yahweh Shai, he had to deal with this, man. He wasn't rolling around with a damn fur coat on and all the money. Although he could have did that. He could have had all the gold, the silver, the ruby, right? The emeralds. Could have walked around with the mightiest crown. Yahweh Shai could have done that very easily. But that's not what we're here for. Remember, let's go to St. John 17. Remember, we're not of this world. As Yahweh Shai is not of this world, and we're not of this world. This is the book of St. John, chapter 17, and I'm going to start at verse 11. It says, and now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I am come to thee. Holy Father, keep through thine own name those who thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are. Right? So we're one as Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is. Now, we're not of the world, but we're in the world. We're in the world because we actually live it right now in this world. We're in a society. That's why we read in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 31, we can use the world, but we can't abuse this world. And we abuse it by being too indulged and being entrenched in this world. Now your life, the truth, it has to revolve around your life, and your life doesn't revolve around the truth. Meaning now you kind of just fit the truth in, and everything else you're doing, oh yeah, I know I'm a Hebrew Israelite, and maybe you got the fringes on, and maybe as a sister you got the hair wrap on, but you're still in this world. I make this point, it's not to say that you can't go to college. Let's say you in college and you want to finish out, you found out about the truth while you're in college. Look, it is what it is. That's of your spirit, and the spirit of Most High is going to give you if you want to continue on or not. But I know it'd be wise, once find out about this truth, you're like, hold on now. Ain't a damn thing I can really learn in this school. Now, again, it's not to contradict. If the Most High had you in there and You wanted to just finish or whatever the case may be, it is what it is. Again, you got to take that up with the Lord. I know for my own self, once I found out about this thing as a freshman in college, and I had a few things going on, the Most High put on my spirit to get the hell out of there. Because you're being brainwashed, and now it comes along the lines where you're almost abusing the world. Because now you're around all these worldly people at all times, and you can think you're a light at that campus, but that campus is going to try to override you. You understand? If you are on a campus or if you're commuting, it might not be the most expedient thing for you. So for those that is watching, and maybe you clicked on this video, you know, it is what it is. Hey, it might be wise if you reconsider your role and your position being at that school. Now, with that being said, I'm going to jump to verse 14. It says, I have given them thy word, and the world had hated them because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. So we're not of the world. We're in this world, but if you're a servant of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you're not a part of this world. This is not for you. You let them have their degrees, their whatever the case may be. If we want to serve the Lord and we want to get this kingdom, right? We want to be beamed up in the chariots, man. We're not trying to get a damn master's, a damn doctorate. All praise to the Most High if you're able to achieve those things. It is what it is, but that's not where your mind and your goals should be at. You understand? You should be trying to be built up in these scriptures. Again, being rich in the faith. We got too many people that's worrying about the things of this world, which is all about to be done away with. You could literally be sitting in class while all hell's about to break loose, and you listen to this damn Edomite professor breaking down whatever to you, some folly. I remember when I was in school, not to change the video to that, but when I was in school, like I said, I only completed my freshman year. This damn professor, he was going into what that was that class called? Astrology. Astronomy. Astronomy, going into the study of the different planets and whatnot. Now I checked him. I was like, hold on. Because these pictures he kept showing us, it just wasn't adding up. He was showing us these pictures and he was saying, this is what Mars looks like. And this is a picture from the Hubble telescope from over in Chile or wherever it was at. And I'm looking at these things and everybody else there in awe and in shock and amazement. But I'm asking him, like, how do we know this is actually what you're telling us it is? And then he's kind of like, oh, don't make no outbursts in class. So I waited till after class and I tried to ask him and I pressed him about it and he didn't have no questions. He kind of told me to get up on my class. And I was like, wow. So lo and behold, I actually dropped that class. I dropped that class because I knew if you can't answer these questions, and you saying you used to work with NASA and you was at the Hubble telescope and all of that, then why am I in this thing and you can't answer these questions? He's showing us these same CGI pictures and images and everybody in class believing it. But the Most High started stirring in my spirit that I couldn't just believe and take whatever they was giving me anymore. So that's what the Lord said. We're not of this world. When you come into the truth, you understand, look, this is not for us. We're not here to be damn billionaires and millionaires and so on and so forth. Even if we had those things, that should only be to further the ministry and only to be to give back to our people. You understand? So verse 15, I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world. So we're not supposed to be, the Most High is going to take us up out of here, right? Via deliverance. But we're here right now to plant these seeds and to win souls for the Lord. It says, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. So we can rest right there. So again, I was making the point that Yahushua, he had to go through these different things, man. He wasn't the wealthiest. He actually was one of the most poorest men that actually walked around. There's a precept that say that Yahushua have no place to lay his head. Right? A mean precept, but it is what it is. This St. John chapter 13, Lord willing, I can find that. This St. John chapter 13 and verse 16. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. So we're not greater than our Lord Yahweh Shai, or Yahweh for that matter. But with that being said, if the Lord had to deal with being poor, being oppressed, having to pay taxes, right? We got to go through them same things. We're not looking to flee from America and move to other parts of the world. I'm not going to say, but move to other parts of the world, and take certain scriptures literally. Now, that's not to say if you want to move to, let's say you want to move to Puerto Rico, or you want to move to wherever. It's not to say that's going off, but don't think you can escape the curses and escape being oppressed, and you can go find succor from another land. Remember, we're in these curses for a reason until our nation of people comes back to the Most High and start keeping the commandments, right? Chiefly the elect, right? Then all of this is over with. So continuing on, it says, his servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. So we're not greater than the Lord who sent us to go out on the highways and byways and teach, edify Yasha'Allah, and come back to the Most High. Let's go to St. John chapter 1, right? A lot of our people, we from the hood and the ghettos. I myself, I'm, not to boast of Camden, but Camden is one of the worst damn places you can ever be at. And that's where we live at. We live in, Camden, Baltimore, Philly, Chicago, Detroit. I don't know what's good in Detroit, right? You got LA. That's some of the worst. You got a rapper, PNB Rock, from Philly, go over to damn LA and get shot down at a damn chicken spot, man. A waffle spot. Chicken and waffle, whatever it was, Waffle House. Got shot down eating chicken and waffles, man. That's the way to go out, with the syrup in his hand. This St. John chapter 1 and verse 45. It says, Philip, finding Nathanael, and said unto him, we have found him of whom Moses in the law and the prophets did write, Yahushua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. It says, and Nathanael said unto him, can there any good thing come out of Nazareth? Philip said unto him, come and see. So Nathanael said, hold on. Yahushua, he comes from Nazareth. Our Lord is supposed to come from the city of Nazareth. What good thing comes from Nazareth? Why did he say that? Because in the city of Nazareth, our people was poor and oppressed. It was the modern day Chicago, the modern day Camden, the modern day Baltimore, the modern day St. Louis. You understand? The modern day damn Broward County. Our people being at the bottom, being oppressed, not having nothing. The modern day damn New Orleans or Baton Rouge. You understand? That's how Nazareth, that's where our Lord came out of. We didn't come from our forefathers wasn't not everyone, but, a lot of our forefathers, we didn't come from some extravagant lifestyle, especially the Lord Yahweh Shai and his apostles. They didn't have some great estate. And it was living like Kanye West before, they took a lot of his money away. I believe they just froze the rest of his accounts. Adidas just did that. So now he gonna be out here like us, living paycheck to paycheck, house to house, doing what he got to do, or the rest of our brothers out there, the homeless and the sick of our people. So it was no greater thing for the Lord to be born in the same flesh that we're born in, to be born in the same condition that we're in, to show us that just as he was able to rise and he rose up out of these conditions, and we can do it too, as long as we believe in him. So that's why I said that the servant is not greater than his Lord. Let's go to Zechariah. Right? Zechariah or Saint Zechariah, right? Zechariah chapter 8 and verse 10. Because that's what the Lord said is supposed to happen to our people, like I mentioned. Zechariah chapter 8 and verse 10, it says, For before these days, there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beast, neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in because of the affliction. For I set all men, every one against his neighbor. So the Lord said, hey, before we enter to the kingdom, hey, a lot of our people, we don't have jobs. It's hard. Some brothers, they was living damn raw and reckless in the world. Going the hell off. Not doing what they had to do, but just going off. I say it like that. Maybe they was on a block. Maybe they just going up, being wicked. So now the Most High may have jammed them up in the world, and they got felonies and they got different cases and charges, and they come into the truth. Salakia. They come into the truth, and now the Most High doesn't allow them to have, jobs and be able to make it. You understand? So the Lord said, hey, before these days, there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beast. Right? Because in the ancient world, you might have had some cattle you wanted to sell, and a lot of people wasn't buying it during that time. Us coming out of Babylonian captivity, us going into the Medo-Persian captivity, us going into captivity to Greece, captivity to Rome, so on and so forth. It says, neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in. Right? So might not have been no peace when you was out in the world. You come back home, now you're dealing with a wicked woman or just trouble and demons and spirits in your household, whether it's from your family or your woman or your children, so on and so forth. So let's read on. Verse 11. But now I will not be unto the residue of this people, as in the former days, said the Lord of hosts. For the seed shall be prosperous, the vine shall give her fruit, and the ground shall give her increase, and the heavens shall give their dew, and I will cause the remnant of this people to possess all these things. So the Lord said, now he is allowing the children of Israel to be more fruitful, right, and more prosperous, specifically in the kingdom. This is talking about the kingdom right here, right? The rest of Zechariah, the 8th chapter, is talking about how we're going to be in the kingdom. So the Lord said our fruit and our offspring, our seed, and they're not going to have to go through the things that we're going through right now. In the kingdom, they're going to live more established, right? And Lord willing, we make it in the kingdom, we'll live more established. It says, and it shall come to pass that as ye were a curse among the heathen, O house of Judah and house of Israel, so will I save you, and ye shall be a blessing. Fear not, but let your hands be strong. So the Lord said, look, hey, he's not going to no longer punish us, nor provoke us, nor cast us away, but we're going to be a blessing. We're going to be blessed. No longer are we going to live through those curses in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 down to 68, but we'll live through the blessings, verse 1 down to 14. All right? So that's where our hope and our succor should be at. Now, ultimately, I'll say this too. You may feel like the Most High is really jamming you up and you just don't know why. And, we can't negate or neglect the precept in Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8. How we should be meditating on the Most High and keeping the commandments of the Lord. If you're not doing that, then, brother, there's no wonder why you damn going through it. It's no wonder why your paycheck is, maybe you getting your paychecks mailed in you get in the mailbox. Hey, it's no wonder why your damn neighbor always taking your damn stuff, or whatever the case may be. Or every time you check your bank account, it's always damn withdrawn or overdrawn. That's the Most High judging you because you're not keeping his commandments and meditating on him. Let's go to that in Joshua 1 and 8. This is Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart of thy mouth. So the Lord said, first and foremost, the law should not be departing from your mouth. Meaning you need to be meditating on the Lord and speaking of the law, speaking of keeping the commandments, teaching your people, not having ungodly discourse. Let's read on. But thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do all according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. So once you start doing those things, then the Most High is going to bless you. Then the Most High is going to allow your ways to be prosperous. If you're not serving the Lord, meditating on the Lord day and night, as is commanded for us to do, then you're going to be unsuccessful in his life and in his walk. And you're going to be at the bottom, oppressed and afflicted. You understand? So yes, it's a balance. We don't want to worry too much about the world, but at the same time, you don't want to just be just out here bumming and being in your grandma's basement. And you saying you're doing the work. Well, brother, get your ass up off the couch. Stop scratching your cheeks. Stop eating potato chips and worrying about the latest Wawa hot gobbler damn turkey sandwich. And brother, go get a job, brother. And while you're getting a job, look, understand you might not have the greatest 9 to 5. It is what it is. But you want to put your best foot forward. You want to do what you got to do. Go provide for yourself. And it is what it is. At the same token, remember we're in captivity. And you're not going to you're going to have a certain limitation to certain things you could do. Also, with that being said, you want to make sure you meditate on the Most High. And then you're going to find your ways to be more prosperous in his life. So with that, let's go to St. Matthew, chapter 6. St. Matthew, chapter 6, and I'll go to verse 33. Right? This is something that everyone should be meditating and following in these last days. St. Matthew, chapter 6, and verse 33. It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought of the morrow, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. So you want to first and foremost seek the kingdom of the Most High. Then everything is going to be added unto you. Don't seek the kingdom of this world, because you're going to be destroyed with this wicked ass world as well. So with that, stay in the spirit. Keep watching these last days. Kwame Asharala, Shalom.